Hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Nicole Cooper here. And I want to hop on real quick and just give y'all some encouraging words. I am leaving the gym and I've been I'm always talking to people. As y'all know, I am a business development coach and digital marketing consultant. So I work with a lot of new and growing entrepreneurs on how to get their businesses successfully launched, how to monetize them properly, how to package them, and also how to get them out to the right audience that is a good fit for what it is that they have to offer. But one of the things that I really focus on, and one of my biggest passion projects of all of it, is being in alignment with where God is leading you. Good morning, Ebony. Being in alignment with where God is leading you. I think sometimes we take this badge of honor as business coaches and we create this separation from our identity, right? To what we're doing with our businesses. And so a lot of times we get lost in the shuffle because we begin to, it kind of reminds me of college where you go to school and you just pick you pick a major just because it sounds good, but it may not always be a good fit, right? Good morning, Lawanda. So I want to talk to you guys today about what is it that you have in your hand. Because one of the things that I do and I've learned as a business coach, I think sometimes we think because you have the gift of coaching, that you have the ability to like tell people what they need to do. And that's not what coaching is. I think one of the biggest responsibilities of a coach is to, number one, help people identify who they really are, right? Who God has called them to be. And then number two, hold them accountable to the standard of of a higher level of themselves, right? So calling them forth to who you know their potential is and what it is that they're called to do. So what I've done, when I work with clients now is I make sure that they have a vision for themselves, right? That not you coming to me and asking me, what do you think I should do? Is what is God telling you to do, right? So, or what is the vision that you have? Like, we all got to understand that you have a spirit inside of you that is guiding you. God is giving you visuals. You have like these passions and these things that you can see. And it's designed that way. Like, you are designed to be able to have a vision that is just naturally, hey, Tamisa, that is just naturally like what God is placed in every single one of us, right? But one of the things that I see that a lot of us don't really understand is the power of what we have in our hands, right? And here's what I mean by that. So a lot of folks tend to spend a lot of time trying to figure out what they should be doing, especially in the area of generating income, right? So you might have a need, right? Right now, inflation is going up. The cost of living is going up. I just read a post. I'm here in Austin. Austin is now officially a luxury market. We are like the most expensive place to live in the state of Texas. We are now the number 9 luxury market in the country. We have now become the new tech valley, the Silicon Valley of the country. And all kind of corporations are moving here. So people are seeing their rents go up like in astronomical amounts, right? So I just read a post about a girl, and I'm in these different groups. And so I see all these folks in desperation trying to find a place to live. Like, you now got to bid on rentals like you're bidding on homes, like literally. And it was like that when we moved here. You would put a application in and it would be you and 10, 15 other people, right? And I remember I told my agent, I said, tell them we'll pay for the whole year. She went to the other agent and was like, oh, my client said they'll pay for the whole year to get the place. And they came back and said everybody could pay for the whole year. I was like, oh, that's not a competitive advantage, right? So that's the reality of what's happening here, but what you're going to find happening all over the country in very highly populated places, concentrated places, is that you're going to be in competition for housing and so many different things, right? So what I'm seeing happen right now is a lot of people need more money. You're going to need to make more money, people. Like, I'm telling you, you cannot keep playing this survival game. You got to get to a place where you have extra disposable income for a lot of things that you can no longer control. The increase of groceries, the increase of housing, the increase of these things, right? So people often come to me who are wanting to start businesses, and they tend to see what other people are doing. So you might go out here and you see somebody say start an e-com store, or you see somebody else say, just doing different things. What I tend to tell people is to look at what they're good at doing. What do you have in your hand? What is it that you naturally do well that people come to you for consistently? Because we tend to overlook the things that we are so good at, and we discredit them, and we don't understand the value of what you have. We don't realize that what you have is a gift, right? That somebody right now somewhere is ready to pay you for that thing. Now, a lot of times you may not know who's ready to pay you, but you won't know who until you acknowledge the what. What is it that you have in your hand that you can use right now to your advantage to get leverage, to get ahead, to be able to get some things going, right? Are you really good at design? Are you really good at organization? Are you really good at styling? What are you really, really good at? Lately, I hire people to help me in so many different areas. I got a lady who's really good at organizing. She comes to my house and she organizes every area of my house, right? She organizes every area and she take it one step at a time. She'll work on the pantry. Then she will work on she worked on my cabinets in the kitchen. She worked on the linen closets. She worked on the bathroom. She come in and one room by one, she's helping to organize my life, right? You have people who can clean. You have people who are project managers, people who are very detail oriented, able to keep your life in order, right? There are so many things that we have in our hands that we can leverage with what we do. And so one of the things that I'm teaching people how to do is take that one thing that you have in your hand and turn it into a successful business. Like, why do we make life so hard and try to get, we try to do stuff that isn't our natural. It's not our natural way of being. So for example, I am not a math and science kind of girl. So if I were to go out here right now, I'm going to try to get into things that are engineering and I tried it. I actually have an IT degree, and I tried to get into like computer programming and stuff like that. I hated it. I was like, oh God, like this, it just made me just like, like I would get tired and lethargic. And I was just like, I don't like this. It's a good skill to know. It can make you a lot of money, but it wasn't my natural alignment, right? What I had in my hand, I was really good at strategy. I was really good at innovation. I was really good at sales. I was really good at speaking. I was really good at working with people, right? So my business model became that. But many of us are out here struggling because we are out of alignment. We're out of alignment. So you got to ask yourself, what do you have in your hand? I shared this years ago about the story of the woman who was in debt. This is a story in 1 Kings in the Bible. And this woman was in debt, and Elijah went to her house, right? God sent Elijah to her house and told her, because they wanted to come and get her son and take her son as a repayment for the debt, for him to go work off the debt and blah, blah, blah. And so Elijah went to her house, and she was like, my husband has died. I'm a widow. And she was saying she didn't have any money, right? And she had debts that she needed to pay, and she didn't want to lose her son. So they were just going to go lay down and die, right? Essentially, she was giving up on life. I think this thing is going to shut us off. Can y'all hear me? Every time the phone rings, it cuts us off. Can y'all hear me still? Can y'all still hear me? Just put a yes in the chat if you can, because it seems like when the phone rings, it cuts off. You still here? Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, so anyway, she was about to die. She said she's going to give up on life. She was going to die. And Elijah told her, he said, how many bottles, make me some bread. She said, I only have a little bit of oil left. I only have a little bit of flour, and whatever. So he was like, I want you to go ask all your neighbors for as many jars as possible that they have, and we're going to fill your jars with oil. So she ended up going to all her neighbors and collected all these jars, and he was able to help her take the little bit of oil she had, stretch it It was a supernatural thing, right? It was like totally a God thing. And then turn those oils into money. He told her, now take these jars, go sell the oil and pay off your debt and take care of your family. But the concept of that messaging was, what do you have in your hand? What do you have around you in your atmosphere right now that you can take and that you can leverage to your advantage? Look at that and use that and get it to where you want it to go. I see a lot of people suffer because they're out of alignment. And this is even in business and even in entrepreneurship, right? A lot of people that I work with, I see people get to the top of businesses that they're just, they were good at it, but it wasn't where they were called. So there was no fulfillment, there was no joy, there was no purpose, there was no connection to it, you know, because a lot of times we're very money driven. So we do things that are going to be financially rewarding. Now, I don't knock that. Sometimes you do what you got to do when you got to get ahead, right? But if you were to look at what you have in your hand, you'll begin to see where your gifts are, where your purpose is, where your right now opportunities are. And you'll be able to discover how you can turn that thing into a supernatural opportunity where God can take them jars, supernaturally fill them up. You go and sell them and it'll get you to where you need to go. Y'all, this is the season to move and activate what's in your hand, right? This is a season to move and activate what's in your hand. I think, you know, even for me, it's like I've had all these years to think about what I wanted to do, to play with stuff, to try stuff, to explore stuff, to, you know, put some energy into something for a little while and then choose that, okay, I don't like this anymore. I got to back out. Well, this is game time season, y'all. Like there is no, you don't have time to explore and check and see what's going to work. You need to be going all in right now and building some things out, because economically you have to be able to sustain and be prepared for like all these gaps that are happening around us, you know. So it's just important to look at what you have in your hand. I'm doing, and this is for people already in business, but I'm doing a training tonight for entrepreneurs, for business owners, on showing them how to get to 10K months, right? And to me, $10,000 a month is minimum wage. It's minimum wage at this point. If you look at how much it costs for rent, this guy put a post up the other day about, he was bragging about his $100,000 a year salary or however much he made. And a guy broke it down and was like, okay, so you have just enough to survive, right? He broke down how much he was paying in rent a year, how much he was paying in groceries, how much he was paying in bills and student loans and this, that, and the other. By the time you cover everything, you are at a point where it ain't hardly much left, right? Like I tell my coaching clients all the time, I'm like, listen, 10K should be a minimum. It should be a minimum, because if you have business expenses, right? Yeah, 10K is not, that is like minimum wage. So if you are at a point where you are trying to figure out like, okay, how can I get ahead? What are some of the things that I need to do? You got to tap into your gifts. I think what most of us don't understand is your gifts is what's going to make the room for you, right? Your gifts, your talents, your skills, those are things that naturally come to you that other people will be willing to pay you for. And you got to learn to leverage that gift, right? You got to learn to monetize. Yes, you can monetize your gifts. If you are naturally good at something, if you're naturally good at design, you become an interior designer. Right? If you're naturally good at fashion, you become a fashion stylist. If you're naturally good at numbers and math, you know, or even managing money, you can become a financial manager, or you can become a CPA, right? Or you can become somebody that deals with data and metrics when it comes to business, analytics, right? There's just so many things that you can do with the gifts that you already have. So when it comes down to people being able to see their lives excel, your acceleration is in your gifts. It's where you are tapping into the thing that comes natural to you, and then you put behind it a super intentional focus to turn it into your life's work, to turn it into your business, to turn it into how you create what it is. You turn it into what it is that you do for a living. That is what purpose is, y'all. It's finding what you're naturally gifted and called to do, and it becomes your life's work. That's the secret sauce. That's the secret sauce. Like, that is the how you get to your purpose and how you get to a place of joy and fulfillment in your life, and rapid acceleration, where the thing that you finally step in to do, you're going to find yourself accelerating very quickly in that thing because you're in alignment, right? You're in alignment. So when it comes down to your business, like even for me so what I'm doing with a lot of my business owners that I work with and a lot of my clients in my coaching program, I teach them how to find their one thing. What's your one thing? That one thing that you're gifted and talented at, and how can we take that to 1 million, right? How to take your one thing to 1 million. We be trying to spend all this time having to learn all these different things that are so hard for us to grasp. And there's just certain ways that you're wired. One of the things that I've done, and you guys can go check it out, is called dreambizmatchmaker.com. I put together this quiz that you can take, and it actually helps you to identify how you're wired. How did God design you? And I break them down into 4 different types. I'm not going to go into that. You can go and take the quiz. It's free, and it'll tell you based on the quiz that you've taken, here's the kind of person that you are. Here's what you need to be focusing on, right? A lot of us are out of alignment. So for example, I talk about people who might be super creative. If you're creatives, you're not detail oriented. Creatives, I'm sorry. I don't mean to like mark people, but creatives should not be doing tasks that are detail oriented. They should not. You should not. If you're a creative, you should not be doing nobody's accounting. If you're a creative, you're not a good, you might be a good administrator, but you're not like the best project manager. Why? Because creatives are visionaries. Visionaries are often distracted by ideas. They're not completers. They're not finishers. They're good at starting stuff, and they go from idea to idea to idea to idea to idea to idea. So creatives are very hard to keep a job because they get bored easily. So creatives have to stay very, very close to what drives them and excites them, but they also have to learn discipline to stick something out. So if I'm running a company, and I've tried this many, many times, right, where I tried to employ creatives as my assistant or as someone to like complete stuff. And I was like, oh, this is not a good fit for you. You might be good at sales. You might be good at marketing, things that keep changing all the time. But to sit down and manage the details of a thing is not what a creative should be doing. That's just not their natural gifting. But then you have those that are highly detail oriented and those that are super by the book. Those are the people you want running the details of your organization. Those are the ones that you want being your attorneys, being your accountants, your bookkeepers, the ones that are project managers, making sure that every single aspect of a thing is complete. So if you're finding that you're in these roles that you're not having success in, or you're struggling with them, or it seems like it's taking forever for you to get to that level of momentum that you want to get to, a lot of times it's because you're out of alignment. You're out of alignment. And I'm heavy on alignment. Because once you get into alignment and you can tap into that thing that you're really gifted at, your business can catapult because you have the vision for where you're at. And so you also have the inspiration and the drive, and you tap into that thing, and boom, 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 your execution, you get into the execution piece of it, and you can actually see it take off. So these are just some things that I see. The website is dreambizmatchmaker.com. You can see it on my wall. And it's something that will actually help you to be able to identify like what it is that you're called to do. Yeah. Like, well, what it is that you're good at doing, like how your personality shows up in the world. And it's a good way for you to kind of get clarity about some stuff. Because some people be like, oh my God, how did you know that? You know, a lot of us don't really understand how we're wired. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with y'all. What do you have in your hand? What do you need to do Dream Biz Matchmaker. What do y'all need to do? What do you need to be focusing on in this season? I just want to put that out there because I just read that article about the lady who rent went up, and I was just like, I have a heart for a lot of people who, you know, y'all, it's like folks are trying to figure out what to do.